Good evening, ATD family. We are coming to you on a Tuesday. This is a special. We are sponsoring this episode of Top Fan Rivalry podcast. And make sure you check this one out because this is going to be a fun one. As always, Grand Slam Sam, and we are here with Baseball Bill, but we have a friend of ours on the line, Mike, the Boston Red Sox fan. How are you doing tonight, good sir?
I am very well tonight, actually. All things considered, we just crossed the trade deadline, so it's been an exciting day in baseball, and I'm so happy to be here with you, Sam and Bill, to just talk about around the diamond.
And that's what
I,
we're going to do. Baseball
I
Bill, as always, how are you doing today?
First of all, this is Mike from Unraveling the Red Sox, the co-host of Unraveling the Red Sox. Number one. Number two, you
He
got me thinking.
hosts it with you. I would hope you would have said that.
Yeah,
Boston
and
Mike.
so like when you said I'm happy to be here, all I have in my mind now is coming to America. I'm very happy to be here. So
Oh
Very
my
happy to
God.
be
Oh
here.
my God. Here we
I'm
go.
tonight. I'm very happy to be here. I
Well,
mean,
I'm
we're not doing this live, but we're doing it as close to live as possible. This thing will be up in the locker room and in on YouTube here within the hour. So it's as close to live as you get.
yeah, I mean, we make it lively, so we'll just go with that. Um, but we're gonna get started with this, and the first question I have is around the trade deadline. So I'm happy you brought that up, Mike. What do you think about what the trades that happened? Talk to me about what you think is the biggest trade.
That's you, Mike.
Anything?
Oh, to me. Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought
to
you said
you. You're
Bill.
Mike.
I thought you said Bill.
No, I said
Sorry.
Mike.
I was like, I'll just let Bill finish his drink of water.
I was
Um,
he said Mike, so I'm like, I got a minute.
I didn't hear him. I heard. See, I heard him say Bill. I heard Bill. I don't know.
It's all right.
Changing my
Very
name.
happy to be here.
Anyway, the biggest trade that happened, the most shocking thing that happened. I'm not going to say it was the biggest trade, but the most shocking thing that happened was the price that San Diego willingly paid for a bunch of middle relievers. They absolutely depleted their minor league system of basically every top prospect that they have, minus Ethan Salas, for bullpen help to Miami. So go Miami. You unloaded all your garbage and gave it to San Diego. So but the action was hot and heavy. There were
hmm
deals flying around. I felt like, I was almost important keeping up on uh
Yeah.
on all the deals that were being made. Um the players and teams that you thought were going to be involved in deals were and there weren't. I don't really think there was like a huge deal that was
Mhm.
made.
Yeah.
Nothing, no blockbuster. Scooble didn't go anywhere. Um, Crochet didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Those were the big pitchers that were on the move. I mean, maybe the first move, the first shoe to drop was the biggest of them all, and that was Amazing Randy to
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
That may have been the biggest move. Uh,
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying with that. Bill, my question to you around the trade deadline is what is the move you're surprised wasn't made?
I'm surprised the Angels did nothing. Didn't even trade prospects to do anything. And I'm
next
wondering,
next to nothing.
yeah,
Next to nothing.
well, yeah, they let go of Carlos Estevez. So next
And
to
Louis
nothing.
Garcia.
That's right. They did next to nothing. And the where this confuses me is you have an aging Houston team that literally just got a rental pitcher and gave away their future. They gave away three very good young talented prospects. Um, and Joey Luperfido can play third base if Alex Bregman doesn't come back. So none of that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And Seattle has this thing where Seattle does, like, people say, well, the Mets met. Seattle figures out how to Seattle, right? And so if
Yeah.
you're the Angels, you've got an awesome opportunity, and they literally did next to nothing. That
Yeah.
surprised me, and I was surprised at how do you say his name, Kikuchi or whatever it is. I'm surprised
Yeah,
at how much it cost. I mean, getting rid of it, fine. You want Bloss? Great. You want Wagner? Great. But Loperfido, all three of them, that one surprised me too. So,
Yeah. Oh,
but
and
I think the market was set by teams like San Diego and what they paid for pitching,
mhm.
not even
yeah.
premium pitching, for Toronto to be like, hey, this is the price tag. So if you want, these players, if you want this player, like this is what we want in return. This is what you need to give up. So
Yeah.
So no disrespect to Toronto or Tampa Bay, but it's kind of like the player to be named later, right? Or
Yeah.
and cash considerations.
oh
When you look
sure.
at the American League East right now, it's like, oh, the Red Sox are like playing awesome, and then you got the Yankees and you got the Orioles. Oh yeah, by the way, you got Tampa Bay and Toronto. So what Toronto did was say, watch this, we're probably not going to make the playoffs, but we're going to bring up some of these kids as towards the end of the season as guys get tooth injuries or whatever and go
Yeah.
on the 10-day IL, but they're
Yeah.
really giving these young kids the opportunity to play because we don't have a 40-man call up anymore,
Right.
right? And so I I see what Toronto's doing and I like it. But you asked that question, Sam, there's my answer.
No,
Do you have a thought on
and
it?
look, I love the feedback on it. I mean, I you know, not really. I mean, I think the trades that went on were there was just a lot of there were a lot of trades that I didn't expect. Um, but then there were some
Right.
great trades out there.
I didn't expect Pittsburgh to be a buyer.
Yeah, no, like absolutely not. I was not expecting Pittsburgh to buy.
I did.
But then
I
like
did.
you look at but then you look at a trade like what the Red Sox did, getting Luis Garcia and trading some prospects away and some young guys. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, the Red Sox did exactly what they said that they were going to do. They
yeah,
needed to get a right-handed bat. Not that Danny Jansen is like a huge offensive contributor, but you know, serviceable. And
look
they
at the
needed
stats that he puts up. If he gets
pitching
on base, it's
depth,
valuable.
and bullpen
Hmm.
help. And you know what? They didn't do what San Diego did and give up their entire farm system. They didn't give
Yeah,
up hardly anybody of recognition except for Nick York
yeah,
for a pitcher that is was immediately optioned to AAA in Quinn
mhm,
Priester, who has been a top prospect, uh, and is going to be able to offer spot starting depth and then potentially help the roster or the starting rotation next year.
yeah,
Uh, and they gave up, that was the biggest name that they give up in Nick York, who is completely log jammed and was probably never going to make, the Red Sox as it was. So, like, why not, you know, offload him for a position that they were in need of? So, other than that,
exactly.
the rest of the trade for Garcia, the trade for Sims, two strong bullpen arms,
Yeah,
they didn't give anything up for.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my last question for you guys, and we'll move on to the next topic, is what's the one trade that happened that's gonna make the biggest impact for a team to make it to October?
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike?
Um, Jeez,
I know that's a loaded question because there were a
I
lot
know,
of
right?
pretty big trades.
I kind of obviously we're going to talk a little bit down, further on in the show about this team, but I like the moves that Kansas City made to firm up their bullpen. I think
Yeah,
that's probably going to be the biggest uh, impact move that was made because that's a team that didn't know what they were going to be, didn't know who they were going to be, and they find themselves right in the thick of it. So they went ahead and made moves to help them out. The Urseg deal, that kid has been solid for the A's. So I like the moves that Kansas City made to bolster their roster to get ready for the push.
Um,
I like it.
I I like two teams trades. And Sam, I know you're gonna roll your eyes about this one, but I like, or the second part of it, I like what Seattle did, getting Randy Rosarina and even picking up Justin Turner. I think gives that veteran leadership in that locker room down the
Yep.
stretch. He's had a number of years where he's been in the playoffs. I think it helps that team and it shows the Astros, hey, we're here to do this. So everybody back off. We're ready. Let's go. We're going to win now.
Yep.
Um, I like the Flannery trade to the Dodgers. With all of the, and that's where I knew you were going to roll your eyes, but with all the
No, I
injuries,
no. In all honesty, I know that that was the one that you knew I was going to roll my eyes at.
I mean,
But
Jack Flaherty for James Paxton. That's a positive move for the Dodgers.
yeah,
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 100%. I don't like. Yeah, I rolled my eyes because it's the Dodgers, but it was a great move. I'm not
yeah,
complaining about about the move. I mean, look, you gave up Trey Sweeney and Thairo Liranazzo, whatever, I don't know how to say his last name, for Jack Flaherty. And you got
yeah,
rid of a pitcher that wasn't doing anything for you. So yeah, it was a solid move. However, I honestly thought you were gonna get Crochet. I really, really thought you were gonna get him from the White Sox. I was like,
yeah.
I was like gung ho set on being like, okay, well, that's over.
Well,
But
that again, I don't know. The Dodgers have 47 starting pitchers for next season.
yeah,
And so literally, I don't know how this plays itself out. I don't know where Garrett Crochet fits. I mean, he's roughly a rookie, so to speak. And you could have a scenario where he is like a Jared Weaver, where he has a great freshman season and he has a sophomore slump.
yeah,
So I don't know that you give away a ton
that's fair.
to get that.
That's fair. All right, so
I
trade.
I really like the Mark Hanna deal, Sam. I think he offers a great replacement for Jorge Soler,
I
and
don't
I
even
think
want to talk
the
about
Giants
that.
are
I don't even
I
want
was
to
the,
trying
talk
to leave
about
that
it.
one out. I didn't want to
the
trample on a
Giants are
man's
now
grave here,
poised
but
to get to
I
third place
this
in the AL
conversation is
West.
not about me. This conversation is about you two gentlemen, and we're gonna stick to that. Well, the trade deadline is passed, and I want to talk about what the next 2 months of the season are gonna look like because before we know it, we're gonna blink and the postseason is gonna be here.
yep.
So, Mike, looking at what trades have happened, who do you now see moving into wild card contention that may not have been there? Who do you see taking the AL West now that, the amazing Randy's over there?
I mean, I think that's going to be the only battle that there is left to have. I think everybody else is going to be staying put. Just
Mhm.
it's going to be a matter of where they end up.
Oh, in
Everybody
the AL
that's
West. I thought you were saying in all of
yeah,
baseball. I'm like, Mikey,
no, no,
Mikey,
no.
Mikey.
The AL West, the
Okay.
AL West is the only battle in the AL
Yeah.
left. All the teams that are currently in contention are going to stay in contention, and it's just going to be who shuffles out.
Yeah.
And one or two teams are probably going to fall out of that race, and one is the one that didn't make any moves at the trade deadline, and that is the Minnesota Twins. So you're going to see the Royals, the Red Sox, Yankees, and Seattle battling it out. Houston, Baltimore, and Cleveland coming out of their divisions. I don't think that there's anybody that is going to move into that picture.
Yeah.
As far as the AL goes, uh, the NL. I'll let Bill talk about the NL.
Yeah, Bill, what about you with the NL? Let's talk National League, Bill.
Um, so currently at time of recording, currently you have three division leaders that are kind of running away with the division. And then you have out of the other 12 teams, you have nine teams that are within 5 games of wild cards. So anything can happen. It's not about winning streaks. It's about winning series, and it's about forget scoreboard watching at this point. Just win, and you
Just
just
win.
doesn't matter what the name of the jersey is that you're playing on the front of the jersey. Just win, and
Yeah.
and if any team can win series throughout a month and go 4-2, which is typically your traditional week, that would be 16-8 in the month of August, and that would move a lot of teams around. So if your team
Yeah.
is 4 games out and they go 16-8 in August, that's going to change a lot of perspectives.
That
Um,
is my goal for the Giants, 16-8. So I know you were speaking that into existence for us, Bill. I appreciate your words of
not not the least, but I don't know what he heard, Mike. But I just
wisdom.
went,
Well, you mentioned 4 games out. Giants are 4 games out of the wild card, and August is upon us. So I know you were just speaking it into existence. It's okay. Keep it to yourself. I'm good.
but
Um,
I will say this. I will say that for the most part, the divisions in the National League are they're not locked up by any way, shape, or form. But I
yeah,
don't see a lot of movement except the Central. The Cardinals can still catch that division. So can the Pirates.
Yeah.
But I also think when it comes right down to it, I also think that you're going to end up having three teams that will surprise you. The Braves may miss the playoffs if they consistently have a bad month. They may miss the playoffs.
yeah,
They
Um,
keep not being able to hit.
yeah,
yeah,
the Pirates could make the playoffs. The the um the Padres could miss the playoffs. The Giants could make the playoffs.
yeah.
You have a number of teams
Don't
there
do that to Sam.
that yeah, that there's a number of things that can happen. And it was funny, Mike, when you were talking about the AL, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the AL West because it's now who can play the best baseball over the next whatever it is, 54 games that are left or whatever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's down to 0-0 and you got
Yeah.
54 games. Who's gonna show what,
A hundred
right?
percent, guys. 100%. I could not agree more. So before we get into before we get into the topic I'm really excited about, Mike, I want to ask you, what do you the next 2 months for the Red Sox after the trades they make? What are
Yep.
you expecting that to look like?
It's going to continue to be the most exciting brand of baseball in Major League
Yeah.
this year. This is a group of players that show up and play for each other each and every day. They're never out of a game unless it's 20-3
Mm.
one time
20 to 7, 20 to
in
7,
Colorado
20 to
where Dom
7.
Smith had a pitch. uh, they anybody on that team on this team can be the one that leads the charge any day. I know that sounds so cliche and like yeah, every team could say that about their team, but like because this team has been such an unexpected surprise to most baseball people, most people that follow the game, watch the game, are thinking critically about the game, that just makes it so fun to see what they're going to show up to do. Like they might be losing as of right now tonight, but they absolutely demolished the Mariners last night after like such a rough start to the second half. So I think that
Yeah.
they're going to continue to grind, work hard. I think that the moves that they made were necessary uh, to sustain them over the rest of the season. Hopefully, they made the right moves. We'll see what the additions of Sims and Garcia can mean to that bullpen. But if they get, you know, if Slayton can come back, Chris Martin can come back, you know, Garcia and Sims live up to what they're supposed to be doing. That bullpen, once they get a lead after the sixth inning, is going to be locked down and they can,
Yeah.
mix and match to get through the rest of a game. And this offense is, I'm really actually very, very happy that they didn't do a whole lot to mess with the offense, because
Yeah.
it is really just firing on all cylinders across the board, So like even Dom Smith, who, if you go back to the beginning of the season, or when Casas got hurt and they had to acquire Dom Smith and put him on the roster to play every day, I was like, who is this guy? I knew who he was. I know who Dom Smith was. But like, I was like, really, this is who we have? And like, it's not like oh no, Dom Smith is coming up anymore.
Yeah.
He's contributing, and it's great. He's contributing offensively. His glove work was never the problem.
Yeah.
So exciting baseball over the next 2 months, as the Red Sox are smack dab in the race for the playoffs.
I love it. I love that insight from Red Sox Mike. Is that the right name? Boston Mike? What's the nickname? I don't.
Mr. Mike to
I don't
you.
know. That's just Mike.
Mr. Mike.
Yeah,
Okay, Mike.
that's Mike. That's Mike to you. Just Mike,
Just Mike.
co-host
All
of
right.
Unraveling the Red Sox.
There we go. So, my final question, and this is the one I've been most excited about, as we come to the end of the season and we look at all the great players that have been playing this year, the MVP conversation always comes up. So my question to Bill first is, who are your top 5 candidates for MVP?
Ooh, top 5.
We can go with
Um,
3. Do you think 3 is a better number? Would you prefer 3?
three's
Three's
probably a
probably
better
better.
number.
All right, let's do 3.
Three's
Your
probably
top
better.
3 candidates for MVP.
So in the National League, I hate to be a homer, but Shohei's doing Shohei things. Shohei's going to be a 40-40 guy. He'll probably walk away with it. But if he doesn't walk away with it, Ellie De La Cruz, who's got 55 stolen bases on his way to probably 90, is definitely in that running. The third one would possibly be Luis Ariz. He's got a bunch of hits. He's just racking and stacking those hits. But probably a little further down. If I'm American League guy, Arson Judge obviously is probably going to hit into the 50s home runs again. He'll probably run away with it. But do not sleep on Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. is doing amazing things, amazing things. Um, and then the other person,
Mm-hmm.
very possibly in the American League, that um, could make a splash just because they do make a splash is I really like Jose Altuve. There, I know there's not a height requirement. If there was, he wouldn't win. But um, but as one of our good
Neither would
friends
Sam.
says, one
Neither would I.
one of our good
Technically,
friends says,
neither would Bill. So we're
yeah,
all in that same boat.
one of our good friends says he's 5'7", but when you stack his World Series trophies and his cash under him, he's 6'8". So, um, but yeah, probably Jose height limit Altuve.
So
So
I love that. So, Mike, before you provide your top 3, what are your thoughts on the MVP? Like, who should be the MVP in your league?
I think that the MVP should be somebody who helps a team that shouldn't have been there get there.
Okay, I love that. I love that
Right.
thought. So, yeah, no, I think that's the perfect way to explain
So
it.
while I love Otani and I love Aaron Judge, and they are the 2 biggest players in each of their respective leagues, they're doing what they should be doing. That to me doesn't make them the most valuable person on a team.
okay,
To me,
Yeah.
the MVP should be, like you said, Bobby Witt Jr. or like Schwarber, or like, I don't know, like Zach Wheeler, right? Like Zach Wheeler has been like in the dumps in previous years, and now he's having like a standout season, even though he got trashed last night. But
No, and I love that.
that to me is who should be the MVP.
Okay.
So
Somebody like Jaron Duran or Rafi Devers, who's night in and night out helping a team that shouldn't be where they are get to
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah.
no, I love that, and
I like that
I think
idea,
that's the
Mike. I
perfect.
really do.
I think that's the perfect way to do it. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where that's not the case, and if you've got the strongest bat, you're
And we
typically
should
going to be
call
the
it
one
the
that wins.
MPP,
I,
the most popular player.
I think that's a fair change. I think you should write a strongly worded letter to
That's
MLB
right.
asking them to implement
I
that.
will talk to Bud Selig.
Yeah, see what he says. I think that's a great choice. But
I
when
don't
you
think
look at
Buzz Selig has much to say, but
yeah, but when you look at the American League and you look at the National League, final thoughts. Who is going to be? Who do you see as the person that should be the MVP in the NL and the AL? Final thoughts.
Bobby Witt Jr. and probably Ellie, but I mean they kind of are like meh. So like I don't know. How about Profar?
Okay, I
that's
like
a
it.
good move. That's a good
That's a
move. I
great
like that.
move.
I
Yeah.
like that.
So I
So
love the perceptions we've gotten on.
Without Profar, would the Padres be 57 and 51?
Probably not.
yeah.
Right.
Probably not.
And see, Mike, I love that insight and changing it. You and I both agree on this, and it drives us nuts. So you look at, for example, the All-Star game. Bobby Witt Jr. might not be a starter on the All-Star game because he's behind other more quote unquote popular players,
Yeah.
right? Even though the guy's going to lead the league in triples, even though the guy's going to get 160 hits this season, bat 285.
Are you talking
But
about my leadoff hitter who's going to
I'm
lead the
talking
league in
about
triple?
no, I'm talking about Bobby Witt Jr. I think he's going to end
Yeah,
up.
no, I know.
Yeah, and but I like the assessment there. But at the end of the day, guys like Shohei and Aaron Judge, it's kind of theirs to lose. Like, but we expect now if Shohei comes back next season and and
If
he's
Shohei comes back and he's pitching and hitting, like that is more valuable to anybody.
yes,
Yes.
correct, correct.
Yes.
That
And
makes him more valuable than anybody else because he is a special commodity.
Yes.
right,
But just as a hitter,
He shouldn't win it.
he's doing what he's doing, what he should be doing. But he's also going 1 for 3 every night with a solo home run.
yeah. But it's I mean
Like,
again,
without that, would the Dodgers be where they are? They have had Mookie, they have Freeman, they have all these other players
Well, yeah.
yeah,
that
yeah,
are putting them in this position. It's not all Shohei. It's not like without Shohei they would be nothing. It's like
truth.
we should give Gavin Sheets the MVP because like without Gavin Sheets, the White Sox would be on a 35 game losing streak instead of a 15 game streak.
I didn't realize that they were 15 or own 15, and they
Yeah.
literally could end August with 100 losses going into
They
September.
don't even have 30 wins yet.
No,
That's less
Eh,
than 10 wins a month.
yeah, they're
They
they're
have less
27
wins,
and
I think,
82
than the
every quarter.
Oakland A's had last year. So let's just stick to that number. So,
Yeah,
I
I
love
mean, I
hearing
can't
the
believe the A's are so like far down because they have so many like studs on that
yeah, but
team.
they have more wins this year than last year. So that's really all
Right.
that matters to them. They are
Yep.
moving up in the world. They have more wins now
Right.
than they did before.
They have
So
almost as many wins as the Giants.
honestly, it's a fact. So I love the insights from both of you guys. I'm so thankful that Bill was allowing me to kind of take the reins on this episode. But Bill, talk to us about TFR. What's going on Top Fan Rivalry?
oh my gosh, how much time do we got? So first of all, for those of you listening, if you're not part, they say membership has its perks. If you're not part of the locker room, you need to be part of the locker room because starting in August, we are going to have virtual events. We are going to have get-togethers, and they're going to be locker room access people, right? And so even if you don't want to listen to the podcast, even if you don't want to read the articles, it's fine. It's whatever. but you still can join these different things. Dugout mugs, awesome. And we have a new set of t-shirts coming in. We've got our t-shirt club for $25 a month. If you like t-shirts, you like cool baseball t-shirts, cool baseball sayings, and things like that, giddy up, we've got it. You can use the code ATD. You can use the code Unraveling. Either code will work for you. But I'm telling you right now, everybody that's listening to this, I'm telling you right now, it the things that we have planned in August, the things that we have planned in September, the things that we have planned in October and in November, you're going to want to be a part of. Um, all the planning is in effect, and then of course you've got January where we have our fan fest. So
And
I didn't even know where to start.
yeah, and I mean, the only way you get a discount to FanFest is to be a locker room access member. So
Correct.
for the low price of how much is it, Bill? Like 50,
$25 a year.
$25 a year? You even cut it down. I deserve a refund for how much I paid for it last year or this year. How dare you? But no,
You
for
may have gotten some free
$25
stuff.
a year, you get a discount to Top Fan Rivalry Fan Fest. You get all of the shows in the locker room. You get to join these live events that Bill is going to be putting on. It is awesome. And you can get 10% off either by using the code ATD in all caps or Unraveling for Unraveling the Red Sox. So,
Yep.
make sure you are signed up because it's only going to start getting better for TFR. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time away from your family to spend with us tonight. It's always great to get your insight. Will you come back and do this again?
It was my
Down?
pleasure, and I will always, always, always guest star on every show on Top Fan Rivalry.
I love
Love
it.
it.
I
Bill,
love it.
any final words for the fans out there?
Uh, Co Dodgers and Sam, fourth place?
I'm not
Fourth
even going to
place?
talk about
Anyways,
it.
we won't talk about where the Giants are
Anyway,
at.
thank you so much for joining us
We
this
don't need to talk
evening.
about irrelevant teams.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening on a special episode of ATD, and we will see you on the field next week.
Have a good night.